Hey Jane, what's today? Today is your birthday! And this is the story about your birthday. So, you know how they say life is what happens when you're busy making other plans? Well, that's exactly what happened when we were trying to have another baby. You see, with your brother, things were textbook easy. In our minds, having another baby was just going to be extremely simple. So this is a story that up until now, in fact, I've kind of debated on whether or not to even talk about this on the vlog. But the truth is, it's a story that I think is important for Jane to hear. You know, like, it's already special that, you know, we already had a boy, and so we're having a girl, and that's super exciting because it's totally different. I didn't grow up with sisters, so it's complete surprising. Of course, that in and of itself was a super joyous sort of discovery, you know, when we found out that we were having a girl. But in between Woodrow and Jane, you know, we had a really tough time. And without going into too many gory without going into too many sort of details about it, really, you know, we decided, you know, because we had it planned, we wanted our kids to be a certain, you know, space apart, and we had this idea and, like I said, you know, plans. And, you know, when we were ready to have another baby, my wife Ann got pregnant, you know, no problem there. And really kind of early on into the pregnancy, she had a miscarriage. And it was just something that we just absolutely didn't expect. You know, we had a lot of friends in our lives that, you know, had difficulties getting pregnant. And, you know, like I said earlier, you know, with Woodrow, it was super quick, easy pregnancy, textbook birth, all of that. And then this happened. Do you know what a rainbow baby is?
Rainbow.
And I remember Ann calling me. It was in the middle of the day. She was at work. I was at work, and she knew something was wrong. And of course, as a husband, you try to stay positive. You're like, you know, I remember being kind of like, no, I'm sure everything's okay. You know, early on in pregnancies, you know, sometimes, you know, little kind of things here and there happen, and sure enough, it was a miscarriage. And even though it was relatively early on, I mean, I think we were probably around like 7 weeks or so, it was still tough. Certainly on me, but like absolutely on Ann. And so, you know, you kind of don't know what to do at that point. It's just so unexpected. When we were kind of cleared to try again, same kind of deal. We, you know, she takes a pregnancy test and she's pregnant, and we're like overjoyed, of course. You know, a little bit apprehensive and nervous in a pregnancy. There's just several milestones, and, you know, we get to, you know, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, and I get the same kind of phone call. Again, this time Anne is like just, bawling, and she says, I think it's happening again. Of course, at that time, I say, no, I'm sure it's nothing. It's probably fine, but I literally dropped what I was doing at work and met her at the doctor's office. And sure enough, we had another loss. We're kind of wondering what's going on, and you begin to kind of process through the fact that you might not ever be able to have another child, and that's a tough one, and as we kind of gradually started processing through that, obviously we focused on what we did have and what we were blessed with already, which is our oldest, our son, who's amazing. What do you think the definition of what's a rainbow baby? What do you think a rainbow baby is?
Rainbow baby?
Yeah.
Like a little tiny baby rainbow.
Okay. Look, we're extremely lucky if we only have the chance to and the opportunity to be one child's parent. Like, boy, did we luck out, and let's just focus on the love of him. At that point, I'm not even sure that Anne, we're very apprehensive and even more scared to try again because of how hugely disappointing and emotionally wrecking it was on her, myself too. But I don't think that I can even fathom the kind of, just utter kind of despair that she was going through. Over time, we decided that we wanted to kind of just go for it again, and just like all the other pregnancies, and got pregnant quite easily, and the milestones start flying by again. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. I'm up in my office and I'm working, and all of a sudden I hear this scream. And I just bolt downstairs. Anne is just hysterical. I mean, she is just screaming, crying, and just furious. And she says, I think it's happening again. So we rush her to the doctor. Luckily, it wasn't happening, but what we found out is that she had this thing called, I don't know, I forget the medical term for it, but basically it's where there is, the placenta is separating from the uterus in a way that it can essentially cause another miscarriage. And so it was something that couldn't be fixed. It was something that we would have to just kind of like wait and see, and it was just terrifying. We're already just on the edge of our seat. We don't know what to do. We're kind of living day by day in this sort of like, zero expectation fog of like zero joy about a pregnancy, just always essentially expecting the worst to happen. One thing after the other is just piling on us and piling on us. And one night I couldn't sleep. I just was tossing and turning, and I don't know. I was just restless. And the next morning I went for a run. And as I was running, I was just kind of looking up at the sky, and first light was just kind of peeking over the horizon. And I remember thinking, you know what? No, I'm not gonna live another day in fear. It's beyond our control. I know that no matter what, whatever happens, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be happy in this pregnancy. There's not gonna be any more negativity. So I got home from my run, and I remember I was just so energized by that. I was like, I ran faster than I've ever run, and I felt so good. And I got home, and Ann was making pancakes for Woodrow, our oldest son. And I said, I made an executive decision. She said, what do you mean? You see, at that point, we hadn't even painted or decorated Jane's room. It was still a boyish sort of blue-gray color that we painted when Woodrow was in that room. And I said, today, we're gonna make the baby room look exactly how it's gonna be. We're just not gonna live in fear anymore. I'm sick of it. There's not gonna be any more negativity. We are gonna meet this baby, and that's it. And it was like this dark cloud was lifted from our home. Throughout this, I learned a term that I had never heard before. That is a rainbow baby. A rainbow baby is a baby that you have after you've had a loss. So now it is July 14th. You know, now the contractions are starting to come more frequent, and Anne can feel them more. And so we make the decision to go to the hospital. Before we do, I kind of sneak off into the bedroom, and I get on my knees and I say a quick prayer. And in that prayer, I ask for Anne to just feel calm, and for this to be easy. Jane came to this earth very, very smoothly, we'll say. And the moment that she was born, I knew I was in trouble. And I like to think of our rainbow baby and every rainbow baby as just these extremely resilient fighters, these souls that are super special and fought to be here. Jane reminds me every single day that no matter how hard you plan or how well you think you have things figured out, some things are just completely 100% out of your hands and out of your control. And that if you live your life in fear, you just can't see the miracles that are around you. Jane Rosemary Brown, happy birthday. You're our miracle baby, and couldn't be happier.